Educational GMAT. Your partner in your GMAT journey.
This is not an easy question. Last year, a company produced millions of widgets each week. So last year, the ratio of number of defective widgets to the number of widgets produced was 1/4 for the first week, 1/8 for the second week, for the third week, and so on for 19 weeks, where the ratio for each week after the first week was half of the ratio of the preceding week. All right. So first week, what was the ratio? Very nice, 1/4. Second week, what was the ratio? Half, right? This is what the question says. Half of what it was for the preceding week, right? Half of 1/4, which is 1/8. Similarly, now can someone tell me how much was the ratio for the third week? Half of what it was for the second week, correct? So half of 1/4. Agreed. Similarly, how much was it for the fourth week? Half of this. Notice this is where I'm coming from. The ratio for each week after the first week was half of the ratio for the preceding week, right? So fourth week would be half of this ratio, right? So 1/2 into 1/2 into 1/4. So now I'm hoping you see the trend. How much was the ratio for the first week? 1/4. How much was the ratio for second week? Half of 1/4. How much was the ratio for the third week? Half of square into 1/4. How much was the ratio for the fourth week? Half of cube into 1/4, right? Now, going with this trend, can you tell me what would be the ratio for the 19th week? Yes. Excellent, excellent, Raman. Notice for the first week, it is 1/4. For the second week, it is 1/2 into 1/4. For the third week, it's half square. For the fourth week, it is half cube. So for the 19th week, it would be half raised to the power of 18 into 1/4. Correct? Half raised to the power of 18 into 1/4. So that would be the ratio for the 19th week. And by the way, this is given to us as D, right? And then we have to look for options that what is most suitable value for D. Now, notice this basically is 1/2 raised to the power of 18 into 1/4, right? Which is nothing but 1/2 raised to the power of 18 into 1/2 square, which would be 1 upon 2 raised to the power of 20, correct? So this is the value of D. Now, 1/2 raised to the power of 20, what can you express this as? What can you express this as? It can be best expressed as this or this or this or this or this. This is what the question is asking for. So again, not an easy question, guys. This does require a bit of an observation. Now, notice 2 raised to the power of 20 is what? Obviously cannot figure out. but then 2 raised to the power of 20 is essentially 2 raised to the power of 10 into 2 raised to the power of 10, right? Can someone tell me what is 2 raised to the power of 10? Oh, that was very, very quick, Rajiv. How did do you have it memorized? Okay, so well, Rajiv will do very well on this question. He already has it memorized. 2 raised to the power of 10 is 1024, incidentally. 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. Calculation wise, not difficult. So essentially, this is then what? 1 by 2 raised to the power of 10 is 1024, right? So 1024 into 1024. Correct? That's the value of D. And now looking at these questions, looking at these options, clearly you can approximate 1024 to how much? 1000? Correct? Because everything is in those terms. So this is where looking at the options helps, right? So this is nothing but roughly equivalent to 1 by 1000 into 1000. Now, this is a question I have, by the way. I roughly equated 1 by 1024 into 1024 to, looking at the options, 1 by 1000 into 1000. All right. Now tell me, is the first figure 1 by, right? This is 1 by, correct? 1 by 1024 into 1024 more, or is 1 by 1000 into 1000 more? Which one is more? Do you get my question? See, actual value of D is this, right? 1 by 1024 into 1024. But I have approximated this to, and why have I approximated it? Looking at the options. I have approximated it to 1 by 1000 into 1000. Correct? So what I'm asking is the value of D more, or is the value of my approximation more? Approximation is more because the denominator is less, right? Approximation is more. In other words, the value of D, right? This is the value of D. This approximation is more, right? So the value of D is lesser than this. So D, in other words, is lesser than 1 upon 1000 into 1000. Correct? So in other words, D is lesser than 1 by 10 raised to the power of 6. And that's exactly what alpha says, right? D is lesser than 1 upon 10 raised to the power of 6. Are we clear? So this was, yeah, by the way, this was the trickiest part. And Rajiv aced this. Very nice. So D is lesser than 1 upon 1 million. So that's the final answer. This would be definitely considered a difficult level question on the exam. Difficult level question.